I'm Sam with Bull Salmon. We're here in the 2021 Ford Bronco at the Ford Bronco Off-Rodeo facility near Austin, Texas. And currently driving the four-door Outer Banks model with the soft top. And this is one of 4 facilities that Ford has set up across the country for their Bronco customers as they start to deliver Broncos in the next few weeks. These are off-road trails that when you buy a Bronco, you will get access to come here and come to either this one or one of the other 3 Bronco Off-Rodeo facilities and do some serious off-roading. We're going to start off on the Jalapeno Trail, which is the easiest of the trails. We'll see how easy that actually is. And we're going to be following the guides through the trail, and we'll see what happens. See if this thing can actually handle it. So yesterday, before we got here, I had a chance to do some on-road driving with the Bronco, and I was really impressed with the level of refinement. You know, for what Ford is claiming for the off-road capability of this truck, it's got an incredible level of refinement. It's got a relatively smooth ride, and it was surprisingly quiet. Even on, you know, yesterday I was driving a 2-door hardtop with the first edition package. So it's got the big 35-inch all-terrain tires. And there's actually, Ford's done a lot of interesting features with these SUVs to really make them true all-terrain off-road capable. They've got a variety of what they call GOAT modes, go over any terrain modes. Currently in the mud and ruts mode. There's, depending on which model you get and which package you get between 5 and 7 different modes. And like the Jeep Wrangler, the Bronco has been designed to be very modular. You can take off the doors, you can take off the roof. It's got capability for all sorts of different accessories. At launch, it's going to have over 200 different accessories available from all kinds of different racks and roof mounts or winches, you name it. Just about anything you might think of that you would want for an off-road SUV is available for this thing. A couple of really interesting features that Ford has added to the Bronco, taking advantage of the electronics that are on this thing on a modern vehicle. You know, it's not as primitive as the old school Broncos.
In the wash. Copy that.
Are the trail control system and the turn assist.
So I'll add my personal experience and what, as a ride and handling tuner, specifically the guy who did the shock absorber tuning on the Bronco, you know, what I'm looking for and what we were trying to achieve on a trail like this is, you know, comfort and confidence. You know, so feel like the vehicle is not working hard, it's handling this terrain no problem, you're not getting jostled around to an extreme degree, it's rounding off some of these inputs, and you're not getting a lot of sharp impacts. And so on the trucks equipped with the Bilstein PSD, the 3-zone dampers, have the ability to tailor the damping in the quote ride zone for most of your highway driving and your small inputs to be a little lighter, a little less damp, so not quite as harsh feeling, and then rely on those end zones to add damping towards the end of travel to control those large amplitude events or high energy impacts.
The trail control system is basically like an off-road version of adaptive cruise control.
The lead trail coming on a vehicle where you're going to want your rear locker, and potentially you could even try your front locker if the truck is so equipped. And most of you may know, but hero switches up on the top of the dash. You're looking for the rear axle with a little padlock symbol, and it equips the front axle with the padlock symbol.
The trail control system is basically an adaptive cruise control system for off-road driving that maintains your speed so that you can do essentially one-pedal driving, and it will, as you're going down a trail, if you're going up and down hills, you're not constantly going back and forth between the brakes. You can just modulate your speed with the accelerator pedal. The trail turn assist system is when you get into really tight corners on a trail and you don't have room to maneuver around. What the trail control or the turn assist does is it'll actually, when you get on the accelerator and turn the wheel hard in either direction, go to full lock, it will actually lock up the inside rear wheel and lock up the brakes on the inside rear wheel, so that the vehicle will actually turn around that wheel, so you can do incredibly tight turns. I was using it yesterday to do donuts in a deep sand pit. So we're here ready for the second leg of our off-road journey on the Habanero course at the Bronco Off-Rodeo. This time I'm driving a two-door first edition soft top with the doors off, so I've got nice wide open to the air all around me. Unlike the Wrangler, Ford actually mounts the mirrors for the Bronco on the body, on the fenders, just in front of the A-pillars. So when you take the doors off, the mirrors are still there. On the Wrangler, when you take the doors off, the mirrors go with it. You can actually buy aftermarket mirrors that you can mount on the fenders, but it's nice to not have to deal with that. It's one less hassle to deal with the Bronco. And as I said, because this thing can run with the doors off, this thing gets very dusty inside when you're on a trail like this. They built it.
Brian, are we all set for the cyber orange there?
Ford built in drains in the floor so you can hose out the interior and wash it out.
About to start moving forward.
Our first bit of water down here. Bronco is capable of fording through 33.5 inches of water, although you would probably want to do that with the doors on. If you get the four-door Bronco, one of the great things about it is because Ford has done a frameless door design, frameless window design on these things. When you take the doors off, the doors are quite light and not that small, especially, or not that large. On the four-door Bronco, one of the things that Ford has done with the Bronco design is they've made the windows frameless. So when you take the doors off, the doors are actually much smaller than they are on the Wrangler, which has full window frames. And if you get the four-door Bronco,
Alright, as we come to the tighter tree section, you're going to want to engage that rear locker to get over this obstacle. You can try it without it, but I'd recommend using the rear locker to get over this. Again, the button's above the screen in the center of the vehicle.
the doors on the Bronco have frameless windows, which makes them much smaller than the doors on the Wrangler, which have full frames. And as a result, on the four-door Bronco, where the doors are shorter.
Screen, that front camera. You can also change camera modes using we call it a hamburger button, but it's got 3 lines through it in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. You have different camera views you can look at, 4 different ones. You can, the front camera view, the 360 camera view, a wide fisheye camera view, and then a rock crawl camera view that just looks at your front tires.
On the four-door.
Hey, Seth, and I believe I heard a question about a setting, what setting we should be in. I think someone was asking about that.
Yeah, Brian, do you know what setting they were asking about?
Not sure. I only caught partial of it. If anybody, maybe I was just hearing things. If anybody out there was asking about what setting we're supposed to be in, please just feel free. If you've got any questions about front or rear locking differentials and or goat modes, just feel free to ask.
Thanks to the frameless side windows on the Bronco, with the 4-door, you can actually store all 4 doors in the back cargo area. So when you hit the trails, if you want to go open air, you don't have to leave the doors behind. You don't have to chain them to a tree or anything like you would with the Wrangler, because the Wrangler doors are too large. They have full frame windows. Unfortunately, on the 2-door Broncos, because the doors are a little bit longer to provide access to the rear seat, they don't fit in the back. So those you will have to leave behind.
If you make this left here out of the wash, go ahead and keep turning more driver than you think you need. So stay more to the left. Just watch the tree on the inside. And after you make that left, you can go ahead and disengage or turn off that rear locker.
Driving the Bronco off-road is actually surprisingly easy, in part thanks to the design. One of the things that the Ford designers did is they kept the peaked fenders that were on the original 1960s era Broncos, which helps you see where the corners are, and they've got the 2 hooks right on the ends, which can be used as tie downs when you're carrying things on the roof like a kayak or a canoe. But of course, since the hood goes straight out, when you're going uphill, oftentimes it's difficult to see what's right in front of you. So that's where the front, having that front camera view really helps a lot.
All right, so as we pull up here, this blue first edition and the cyber orange one, you have a rock crawl mode, and so go ahead and will be spotting you through this descent.
Thanks.
After you go through this mud pit and come up this next hill, I recommend you have at least the rear locker in. Potentially on the line you take, you might also need the front locker. So I would stay wider or more towards the passenger side than you think you need.
Things about off-roading is, even though the vehicle is capable of crawling over a lot of these big rocks, you don't necessarily want to do it too quickly, because if you hit some of these rocks can be very sharp. If you hit them too fast, you can blow out a tire.
you make this right turn and go into this water crossing, and recommend putting your rear locker on. You can drive up this muddy hill on the other side, and recommend using your cameras, if you have them on your vehicle, to figure out where your wheel placement should be. Again, there's a menu button up on that sync screen that can change your camera view. So what do you prefer?
Yeah.
So as we climb this next hill, we're going to make a hard right at the top of it. It's a good opportunity to try trail turn assist. Again, that button's at the top of your dash, right next to the traction control off button, just to the left of it. So you can push that button as you approach it. As your steering wheel approaches full lock, right inside wheel, or the inside wheel will engage in the turn, the rear inside wheel, and then once you complete the turn, you can turn it back off. Alright, so as you come up to a stop here and we bunch up, with your foot on the brake, you can press the Trail 1 pedal drive mode. Again, that's the button in the middle of your goat mode selector knob. It has the silhouette of the Bronco. So once one pedal drive has been selected, we're going to go ahead and select trail control, and you do that by using the set plus and minus buttons on your steering wheel, just like cruise control. So while you're sitting here with your foot on the brake, you can set the select speed. I would recommend 1.5 miles an hour. And once you have that set, it should be green. You take your foot off the brake, and the vehicle will hold that speed for you. All you need to do is steer. You can override that speed by using the set plus and minus on the steering wheel or the brake and gas pedal.
So we're setting off now on the third and final leg of our little off-road adventure with the Bronco, and this time around we are on the Ghost Pepper Trail. This time I'm in a cyber orange 2-door hardtop wild track, and so this is one of the lower trim levels. It doesn't have all the features. Doesn't have all the features that are on the some of the other ones I've been driving. But it does, you know, as I think all of them have both front and rear locking differentials and trail turn assist, as well as trail control.
So we're going to make our way through some rock across here. If you do have a stay bar disconnect in your Badlands First Edition, this is a fantastic place to have that first button lit up on your Hero Switch dash.
Is this a more challenging trail than the other two have been on, but since it is primarily a rock crawl trail, not having the forward-facing camera does make it quite a bit more challenging, especially when you're going uphill. You can't really see what's right in front of you. So if you were doing a trail like this on your own, without a guide to follow for the first time, definitely be worthwhile to have a spotter.
We do have a pretty technical corner here. I will hop out and help spot the next Bronco through as soon as we make it through. So this is a nice spot. You can try to feature the Bronco. do have the ability to engage just the front locker without the rear. So this first part of the climb, you have to make kind of an S-turn. You can try front locker only, and then the last climb, you probably want both front and rear.